Hi students, today we'll be looking at chapter 7, Simplify Algebraic Fractions. So this is on textbook page 149, and after this you'll be required to do workbook page 81, all the questions, and page 82, question 3. So for this part of the questions, we are looking at simplify. So what does simplify means? It means we make it simple. It can be said that you can reduce it to simpler form, like for example your fractions, right? When you have 2 over 4, you can reduce it to half, because we know that 2 is a common factor in the numerator and the denominator. So we can divide 2 on top and 2 below, so you get half. So in order to reduce to simplest form, right, you have to use all your factorization skills that you have learned in chapter 5 and 6. First one, it will be your pulling out common factors. Second one will be your multiplicative frame to break down into the different factors. Lastly, you can make use of special identity as well. For example, your perfect square and your difference of two square, which is your a square minus b square. Once you factorize it, it will be a plus b times a minus b. Okay, let me make it more consistent. Since you're looking at factorize. So a square minus plus 2ab plus b square. Once you factorize it, you can factorize it as a plus b square, or a square minus 2ab plus b square. Once you factorize it, it will be a minus b bracket square. Okay, so looking at question, so these are all the various ways that you can use to factorize an expression. So for question 1D, they ask us to simplify these fractions over here. So how do we simplify? So first thing, we need to know what are the common factors. So let's check the numbers first. So 10 and 30, right? I know that 10 is a common factor in the numerator and the denominator. So I can divide it by 10 throughout in the top and bottom. So I divide. So once 10 divided by 10 will be 1. 30 divided by 10 will be 3. So once I write my answer, it will be 3 at the bottom and 1 on top. So now looking at the x and the y, right, all the variables, x cubed is equals to x times x times x. So this means, right, if I have x at the bottom, I can divide by 1x on top and bottom. So I left x squared, here will be 1. Because x divided by x will be equals to 1. So now looking at the y, you can divide y in the numerator, and I can divide by y in the numerator as well. So I left with y squared. So z, we didn't do anything to it, right? So we just copy it in. So x squared times 1. And this one will be times y squared times z. Okay, so to make things simpler for you, right, you can ignore the ones, because we have x squared in the middle. So it will be x squared in the numerator, because 1 times x squared times 1 will be x squared, over 3y squared z. This one will be how we simplify our algebraic fractions. Now let's move on to part B. No, 2f. So 2f, right, we have a r minus s bracket square and r square minus rs. So r minus s bracket square, right, is actually our perfect square over here. So this means r minus s square equals to r minus s times r minus s. So this is what it means. So let me write it out first. It'll be easier for you to see. So now at the bottom, right, is r squared minus rs. So I can see that r is a common factor for both terms. So once I take out r, I will be left with r minus s. So over here, how do we simplify it? So you can think of like reducing fractions in numbers. For example, I have 2 times 5 divided by 3 times 5. So once I have 5 in the numerator and denominator, I can just divide it by 5 throughout, top and bottom. So I left with 2/3. So this is how I simplify my fractions. So using this concept over here, when it's multiply, right, I can reduce it to a simplest algebraic fractions. So r minus s divided by r minus s, so 1 and 1. So it will be r minus s over r. So this will be your answer. Okay, so actually you can remove the brackets. So now looking at 3a. So over here, right, is a squared minus b squared. This one looks familiar. And you realize that this one is a difference of 2 square, which you have learned previously. So I can express my a squared minus b squared as a plus b times a minus b divided by a plus b. So this term in the denominator, actually I can just bracket it because you can treat it as like one set. So a plus b times a minus b divided by a plus b. So we need to check out what are the common factor. So for the common factor, right, it will be a plus b. So I can divide a plus b in the numerator and the denominator. This one will be 1. This one will be 1. So I'm left with a minus b divided by 1, which means is a minus b. Because anything divided by 1, it will be the same expression themselves. So a common mistake will be that students just happily divide by a plus b, and at the bottom just put 0, which is wrong. Because we know that any number divided by 0, you can't find the answer. So always remember that a plus b is actually equals to a plus b times 1. There's an invisible 1 over here. So you must take note of it. So this one will be a minus b. So for question 3b, now we have 2m plus n divided by 4m squared minus n squared. So how do I simplify this term? Okay, so the first step, right, it will be for us to factorize the denominator, because we notice that this one looks like a square number. So I can use the difference of 2 square, which is this one, to factorize. So first thing, for difference of 2 square, I need to identify what is my a and what is my b. So 2m plus n, I can just rewrite the top because there's nothing for me to like factorize. And for the bottom, right, I know that 4m squared minus n squared, I can split it as 2m and 2m, while for my n, I split it as n times n. So this means this one will be my a and this one will be my b. So once I factorize, I present it as a plus b, which is my n, times 2n minus n. So in this case, now once I have factorized it, I can divide all the common factors away. So the top part, I can treat it as one expression by itself. So I realize that there's 2m plus n on the top, 2m plus n at the bottom also, the numerator and the denominator. So I can divide by 2m plus n, divide by 2m plus n. So remember that once you divide by 2m plus n in the numerator, it's not 0. There's a 1 behind, because everything, right, is always times the invisible 1. So 1 divided by 2m minus n. This one will be my answer. So this is how you do simplify algebraic fractions.